Grant Cardone. I've heard this name so many times, but I didn't really know if he was legit or a total scam. If you look him up online, there's two clear sides. This guy is a business tycoon worth over $1 billion, or two, the guy is a scam. So our team decided to investigate Grant Cardone to find out how the guy is making his money, is he legit, and is he also really a billionaire? Stick to the end of the video because there's a few surprising financial things we find out. First off, why do people hate him so much? Number one, the guy talks a big game and likes to show off his wealth. He's on airplanes with stacks of dollar bills. He created a television show called Undercover Billionaire. He's selling really high ticket items and investments to people who may not actually be able to afford them. He's selling that aspiration. He's got $1,000 courses. He's asking non-accredited investors, people that don't make a lot of money, to invest in his real estate stuff. Most billionaires, you can actually see how they got to become a billionaire. His marketing is over the top. Some people say it's even false advertising. Recently, he's gotten sued for the claims he's made in his marketing. And if you look at his products, this is something that's always weird to me. He's saying the product is the #1 in the category, the #1 conference in the world, the #1 sales training in the world, the #1 investment opportunity in the world. It smells fishy to me. So I'm gonna look into these claims in a second to see if they are legit or not. But first, let's get to the juicy stuff, is how is Grant Cardone actually making money today? So first off is the Cardone University. It's his online course. He's selling an in-depth training program for salespeople and companies who want to train their sales team to get better results.
All my great stuff: selling, closing, road to the sale, fundamentals of selling, cold calling, outbound calls, inbound calls, selling on e-commerce, how to start a business from home. Hey, how about this? 5 hours on how to start over and turn a crisis into your expansion.
So supposedly in terms of numbers, he's got over 221,000 active users. And this course costs between $1,000 to $12,000 depending on what add-ons you pick. So how much is he actually making from this business? Total gross revenue of this looks to be around $30 million a year. So let's actually see what people on Reddit have to say about Grant's course. Every Grant Cardone rep I've ever met has been pretty crappy. Look, pounding people into sales is not a real sales. Agreed, you gotta make them want it. People are reviewing Grant and not what he teaches. I've heard him say several times people who are more calm and introverted would do much better than he ever could. It doesn't seem like anyone's actually taken a lot of the material and put it into practice, so it doesn't have a clear verdict on that. And at the end of the day, it's his right to charge whatever he wants and no one has to buy it from him. So I'm not really seeing any signs of a scam besides he has a high-priced course and does a lot of marketing around it. The 10X Conference. So every year, Grant hosts a conference called the 10X Conference, which he describes as rock concert, entrepreneur concert, all in one. Previous guests have been Kevin Hart, Floyd Mayweather, John Travolta, Snoop Dogg, Pitbull, Scooter Braun. I love Scooter Braun. It just looks like a scam. Does it not? An autoplay video. He's got some fancy house. Like, you should see me in my 800 square foot house. It's got the dotted line box. Like, this is scam stuff central. You don't see high quality brands doing it like this. It works, but again, this is what makes people associate you and him as a scam potentially. Again, it's probably got like a timer and all this kind of shit. Yeah, oh wow, timer, I just guessed it. And it's got a bunch of pictures of the people he's paid to actually be there. So just to give you some crazy numbers, in 2019 alone, they filled Marlins Stadium with over 35,000 people. We're gonna actually take a look at 2021 numbers to guess the kind of revenue he's doing from these. His tickets for this year in 2021 with 2,000 seats are between $5,000 to $20,000 a ticket. That's at least a $10 million a year business. So scam or legit? Grant marketed it as the #1 business conference in the world. And again, call yourself #1 if that's your aspiration. But again, people on the other side of that are gonna be like, yo, that's bullshit. Is that really legit or not? If you look at some of the people who've actually been to the conference, and our team looked into what people are saying, it does look like some people love it, but a lot of people say it's an overhyped pitch fest. Let's actually check out some of the reviews.
The only thing that people are doing here is they are selling their products. They are not giving you any content.
It's exhausting having one after another, almost contradicting each other immediately after the next speaker just spoke.
It was like a webinar. So those live webinars you see all the time online, essentially picture that, but on stage. So
this is what's actually really interesting, is I think you can learn from a lot of people, but most of the people who are making millions or billions in sales or running businesses, shut the F up. Why? Because they make more money that way. And that's something to really think about. They're not out actually trying to get social media followers. They actually probably have the smallest followings on social media that you can even imagine. So is the event overpriced or not at thousands of dollars? That's really hard to decide. Are Rolexes overpriced? Yeah, it's just a watch. So a lot of that depends on the people who are attending. But I would say if you were spending that much on an event, I would expect to get a lot out of it. I know personally, I went to a Tony Robbins event. I put the video, maybe it'll be somewhere out here or down in the description. And for me, it was not a great event. Tony pitched a lot of different products. And it's also, when there's 14,000 or 35,000 people in attendance, it's hard to give everyone what they want. For me, I would say do your research if you're spending this much money on a conference. But again, it seems like the conference had good speakers and maybe a few nuggets out there, but maybe it's not for everyone. And speaking of a pitch fest, I am gonna do the opposite. I'm not selling anything to you, but I am gonna give away a company to one of my gorgeous subscribers this month. Yes, you heard that right. I'm gonna be buying a company on flippa.com and giving it away to one of you. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out. In our breakdown of how Gary Vee makes over 200 million buckaroos a year, we explained how Gary built up his personal brand over the last decade, positioned himself as an expert, and now he gets over $100,000 per speaking gig. But no one calls Gary a scam. It's kind of interesting, right? So Grant has done really the same playbook. He's built up his social media through these over-the-top videos to 11 million followers, and he's now a thought leader too. He is also charging around $50,000 to $100,000 per speaking engagement. This is crazy. Let's do the math to see how much he's actually making from this. At about 50 speaking gigs a year, at $75,000 per appearance, he's making around $3.75 million a year from speaking. Either love him or hate him, he does know how to get a crowd going and get people really motivated. He has mastered the craft of storytelling and public speaking, and the content he shares is definitely empowering. My verdict is that it's interesting that he uses all these things to build up his brand, make some money through speaking, things like that, but the real money maker is actually next. So this is Cardone Capital. Yes, perhaps the most controversial one of his ventures that makes all of his money today. In 2017, Grant founded his real estate syndication fund, Cardone Capital. So what the hell does this actually mean? A real estate syndication is basically crowdfunding for real estate. It's raising money from other investors to buy real estate properties. So how does it actually work? Let's check out a video.
So we find a piece of property we want to buy, something that beautiful right here in Miami. And then what I do is we fill it up with renters. Once the property is cash flowing, we then tell the public, would you like to get invested with me?
All right, you don't have to watch this whole thing, and I've actually done some of these real estate syndications so I can speak to them. But what he does is he raises money from anyone out there, leveraging his social media audience to do that. Him and his team go find real estate deals, negotiate it, purchase it, finance it, close the deal. Now all of the people become investors in this actual real estate. Now their portfolio of properties generate monthly rental payments from the tenants if they rent these out, or if they sell them, you take the proceeds and distribute it to all the investors. So let's actually look at the numbers from this business. Cardone Capital supposedly has $1.9 billion under management across properties in Florida, California, Arizona, Texas, and so forth. But how does he actually make money on it? He has 4 ways he's making money on these real estate transactions. He gets 1% for managing all the money he's collected. He gets 1% for when he buys the property, 1% for when he sells the property, and 35% of the property profit whenever he makes a sale. In real estate, there's a thing called a cap rate. That is your likely profit from a deal. And in a great real estate deal, you're gonna make around 10%. So his total yearly revenue just from Cardone Capital is almost $40 million. So is this real estate thingy a scam or legit? First off, I have not put my money into anything, nor do we find anyone personally, so you can't say 100%. But for myself, I have invested almost $400,000 into real estate syndications. This is not a new thing whatsoever. So if you're young or you're super old, real estate syndication is a great way to get into real estate, especially if you have no money, but you're willing to do the work, organize the deal, and manage it. So the thing that's really fascinating for Grant is that there is a gigantic benefit from all the upfront money that he has invested to build his social media following. It makes it so much easier for him to get capital to do these real estate syndication deals versus other people. There are some scam comments from people out there. One, people say the fees and management compensation are very high. Yeah, sometimes they're high. He also has a premium brand, but it sounds like these fees are public and people know and they can make the choice whether they want to do them or not. And also in 2020, supposedly he got sued for making misleading statements about this fund. One thing that's a little bit questionable is that he accepts money from non-accredited investors. So a lot of things like Angel List and a lot of funds don't do this so they can protect people who don't have money or are not really informed. So it looks like from all of Grant's yearly business, he's making Cardone University at $30 million, public speaking at nearly $4 million, conferences at over $10 million, and Cardone Capital at over $40 million. A total of $84 million, pretty respectable amount of money he's doing a year. There's a few things you gotta respect before we talk about the scam stuff. First off, for anyone out there, building a brand is valuable. Him being flashy has attracted a lot of attention. It works. And he's been doing it since 2007. That's over 10 years. I talk about the law of 100 for any of you guys out there, whether you're making videos, whether you're making calls, commit to at least 100 of them. So personally, I'm not really a fan of being super flashy. It's just not my style. I mean, we're in a taco sweater for God's sake. So you gotta give him some credit from going from underdog drug addict to multimillionaire and maybe a billionaire. There is some credit for that. And I have to give him credit for as well giving the guru playbook. But Noah, here's the missing part. Is he actually a billionaire based on our research? I don't think so. So there's a few questions I'm pondering. Why don't people call Bezos, Gates, Musk a scam? One, it's because they're not extremely flashy, and two, you can see what they've created. You don't really actually get to see all the real estate he owns. Maybe it's worth $1 billion in value, but after the mortgages, it still might not be worth $1 billion. Secondly, why do people hate on this guy so much? Is that people love to see flashy people fail. And also, when you see the wealth, but it's not actually clear how it's created, it's super valid for all of us to question it, and also you to question if you want to be giving that kind of person money. Do I personally think he's a scam? No. But do I think it's weird? Yes. And you should choose who you want to learn from. And beware of following the flashy people. The wealthiest people, again, that I know also have the smallest social media followings. Think about that. Likely at the end of the day, I don't actually think he's an actual billionaire. He's more like a paper billionaire. But you can't deny that he's become a pretty smart businessman over many years. What do you think about it? I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments below. If you like this video, you are gonna love me roast business gurus on the ads on our YouTube channel right over here. I'll see you out there, and I love you. Woo!